Can you guys see me? Can you see me? Yeah, autofocus is working. What's up, everyone? It's Mike with This Old Hot Rod. I don't want to beat the snot out of my 34, which is behind me. That car just is rock solid. Beat the snot out of that thing all weekend long up in Romulus, and I didn't really feel guilty. I mean, you build them to drive them, but I don't want to break it. I want to be able to do some good driving and cruises and everything with that car. So I want to build a purpose race car for that event. I sandblasted the frame rails outside. I think I did a little bit of video of that, so I'll throw that in there as well. Probably not the best sandblasting job, but it is what it is. I ordered some boxing plates. Those just showed up yesterday. And with the drag car in mind, I purchased the boxing plates with the lightning holes. I did not get them with the dimple die because I kind of want to build the car on a budget. I went to Trog and I sold a good amount of parts down at the swap meet in the tech lot. And I took that money, put it in the bank, got a hangnail, and I ordered a bunch of parts. What I have here is Model A frame rails. What I ended up doing, like I said, I sandblasted them, kind of did the best I could. Need a little bit more work, but I'm gonna let it fly. Model A frame rails, I lopped the horns off. I put a 2.5 inch tube cross member in on the front, so you can see it there. Got my angle finder on the front. So I want to get that set in place before I put the boxing plates on. What I also did was I took the kink out of a Model A chassis. So if you look at a Model A chassis from the front to back or whatever direction, they have a kink right at the B pillar. So what I did was I cut the top of the frame rail here and I straightened the frame rail all the way back. So the entire frame from the inside measurement is roughly 23 inches. That's also the width of the grill shell that I'm going to be putting on the front of the chassis. There won't be a radiator, there won't be a cooling system. I will have a small battery on board, and I will have a mini torque starter so I can start the car whenever I need to at the drag strip. So where I'm at is I got the frame cleaned up, the frame is square, and the frame is pinned down to my table. My table is leveled off. The frame's leveled off, everything's ready to go. I'm gonna start attaching the boxing plates to this frame. Try to get these boxing plates clamped and tacked in place before I leave the shop tonight. So I told you guys I bought a couple new tools for the shop. One of them is a 12-inch sanding disc that I just picked up the other day from a guy locally, and I bought a powered hacksaw. So it's an old Toledo powered hacksaw. It's really cool. So this here is that disc sander that I just told you about. I picked this up the other day on Facebook Marketplace. Thing's a beast. And then this is that Toledo hacksaw that I picked up a couple of days before that. This thing works fantastic. So I've got my clamps in place. I have this front boxing plate clamped into place. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna put a couple of tacks on the top for the moment. All right, so my new helmet is a Lincoln. My buddy Joe, who's a very talented fabricator, turned me on to this helmet. So it's a 3350. I don't exactly know how they do what they do, but I'm telling you right now, this helmet is absolutely a game changer. This helmet was about 300 bucks, well, 350. They range between 350 and 400. I got it without the box, so it was an open box helmet, and I saved 50 bucks. So if you guys are new to TIG welding like I am, and you want every advantage you could possibly get, a good helmet's probably the best advantage you can find. And yeah, it's an expensive helmet, but the difference it makes being able to see your welds, again, like I just said, it's a game changer. So I'm looking forward to using it. I tried Joe's the other day or a couple weeks ago, and it was just incredible. One of these days, when I start making enough money from YouTube, I'll upgrade my welder. I think that's a long time coming, unfortunately. I've got a bunch of tack welds on the top of the passenger side frame rail. What I need to do is flip the frame over in order to weld up, get some tacks on the bottom side of the boxing plate on the frame rail. Before I do that, I am going to get inside of that frame rail cleaned up a little bit better. I had this one done already, so I'm going to do the passenger side. I'm just going to wire wheel it and just hit it with a flap disc, just to get the surfaces clean inside a little bit better. I sandblasted the frame mostly on the 3 outer edges, not so much on the inside. Truthfully, I should have paid more attention to it because you're gonna see it because of the boxing plates. The fact that they have the circles in them. So I want to clean it up a little bit better so I can make sure that when everything's welded and I get everything primed or sealed or whatever in sealer or epoxy, I will be able to paint it and it'll look halfway decent. It's just a race car. I'm not making like a beautiful show car, but I still want to make it nice. I want to make my welds look nice, and just to know that I can, and to know that at least get the feeling that I'm improving in my fabrication and welding skills. Because that's the name of the game, right? You always want to make your current build better than your last. That's what I'm setting out to do. But at this point, you can see what it's going to look like. I wanted the look of the lightning holes, but more importantly, I'm going for weight reduction if I can. So in any aspect of the build, if there's something that I can use to eliminate some weight without compromising strength or reliability, I'm going to do that on this car because it's specifically a race car. Actually, you know what? One other thing that I need to do first, probably just grab a piece of steel out of my little bucket, is I know this frame rail is good, but adding a lot of heat, this is a long span, so I want to add some braces in between on the frame, in between the frame rails, or underneath the frame rails or on top, so I know the frame's not going to twist or move, because there's no way for me to really clamp the middle of the frame down. I only have it clamped at the 2 ends. So I just want to make sure the center of the frame's not going to move. My battery's blinking, so I'm going to switch out the camera battery and we'll be right back. Alright guys, here's the new tool in the shop. This is a Toledo powered hacksaw. This came out of a candy factory in Brockton, Massachusetts, where they made root beer barrels and lollipops. The tag for the machine is still on. Y&S Candies Incorporated in Brockton, Mass. And fire the old girl up. Check this thing out. No dust. That's the best part about it. You just go zip these over real quick onto the disc sander, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one of these on top of the frame and one of these on the bottom of the frame. I want to make sure the frame isn't going to twist and rack when I'm adding heat. Where I want to do that, where the 2 boxing plates meet, is going to be a lot of heat, and then where the frame was originally kinked, where I brought it in. I want to make sure it's the same width from the front to the back. So what I ended up doing was cutting this weld where I pinched it. I'm going to add this. I'm going to weld this onto the passenger side, but I'm going to wait to weld it on this side. I want to actually push this frame out a little bit. It needs to come out about 1/4 inch. Like that. I'll get the top welded, then I'll be able to weld this seam and it's not going to suck in again, because that's what it was doing. That's what happened, I think. So what I'm doing right now is I'm measuring the front of the boxing plate to the rear edge of the front cross member the best I can. I got 3 3/4 on this side. I had 3 5/8 over here, so I just bumped it back 1/8 of an inch. So I've got 3 3/4 now from the back edge of this to the front edge of the boxing plate. We should be ready to weld this in. So I'm gonna tap this down. Make sure I have equal gaps on the top and the bottom to make sure I have good space to weld. So I think I'm good. Now, my media card, my SD card is full on my regular camera, so I'm gonna wrap this video up with my phone. Quick recap. I put these cross braces on the frame, the top side and the bottom side. I cleaned inside the frame on the passenger side best I could. Again, it's a race car. This isn't a show car. It's not going to be perfect, but I still want it to be nice. All right, so it's kind of tough to see, but you can see this hole here, this one here, and there's another one underneath. Those are the 3 holes for the front cross member. The center hole essentially being where the front spring would be located. I was able to move the cross member forwards. What I'm using is the suicide perch that I saved when I cut the front frame off my 34. With removing the front cross member, putting this 2.5 inch 1/8 wall tube here, and then adding this onto the front of the frame, I extended the front of the frame 5 inches. The wheelbase is going to stay the same because all I essentially did was gained 5 inches on the back of the frame, because I'm still going to have the option to put my rear axle wherever I want it. The rear axle is going to be on top of the frame, so the frame's going to be bolted from underneath. This is going to be behind the rear axle. This may end up staying here. I may end up putting my seat or whatever on that. This is in here, just tack welded top and bottom temporarily. But again, this may end up staying in here. I don't know yet, but I needed to have something to make the frame a perimeter in order to start getting things boxed. So that's why that's there. So essentially, I extended the real estate of my frame rails by moving my front cross member forwards 3 inches and then adding another 2 inches here. So the center of my front spring and front axle will be to that hole right there, up here like this. So that's the reason why I removed the front cross member. Not to mention, it's going to lower the front of the car. So you can see, like I said, boxing plates. I'm not the best TIG welder, but not too shabby. A little bit more than a tack. I went about 1 inch each one. And again, both sides, just the top of the frame. Next video, I'm going to flip the frame over. I'll do the same thing on the other side, clamping everything as I go. Get the frame clamped back down to the table before I add any heat to it. And then once that's done, I'm going to be able to just finish weld all of the boxing plates in place. And then I'll get my rear axle, which is this. This is a 9-inch, a Ford 9-inch, came out of a F100 pickup. I'm not sure the exact year. And then this transmission is from a early, like 1st generation Bronco. This is a Ford top loader 3-speed. I was able to find a new NOS Hurst 3-speed shifter locally a couple towns away. I just picked up the other day. I have a NOS Zoom pressure plate. I just picked up a center force clutch disc for the Ford transmission and a throw-up bearing from Billy Belmont up in Dedham, Mass. So things are coming together pretty good. I'll show you guys the clutch. This is an NOS clutch, Zoom clutch that came from Billy Belmont. Like I said, I picked up a couple of other things today. Clutch disc, throw-up bearing. I've got a few sets of NOS Hurst mounts that I've been hanging on to for a few years. This is the lower pad for the front perch. Rear drums. What is this? Oh, those are my header flanges. So I got stainless header flanges. So, all right, everyone. So that's where we're at. Appreciate everybody's support. Hopefully you guys are happy to see the channel back up and running. Life really hasn't eased up at all, to be completely honest, but this is something I'm trying to make happen. Hopefully you guys will look forward to each week or every other week or whenever I put out a new video. I'm looking forward to being in the shop. I like the fabrication. Hopefully this thing's gonna come together pretty quick. I got some box tube outside that is for the body structure, and hopefully it'll be pretty cool throwing that body together. And fortunately, I'm gonna be cutting it up a little bit. So don't usually see me at the end of the videos, but I wanted to just do a quick update on this video. I actually had this video completely edited, uploaded to YouTube, and all that techie stuff already done. And the reason why I wanted to edit the video down is just to let you guys know there's a benefit car show coming up on November 9th. It's like 2 weeks away, maybe a little more than that, because I'm not exactly sure even what today's date is, to be completely honest. There's a benefit car show for Cole Chabre. Cole is a 5-year-old boy who was diagnosed with a terminal illness, and he is the son of Chris Chabre, who is a very talented fabricator that has been in this hobby or lifestyle for many years, and he was dealt this blow. So like I said, Cole just turned 5 years old, and the show is called Trucks for a Cause, and it's like a big truck show, like an 18-wheeler style truck show, and a car show pickups, you know, and all that stuff. So I am going down. I'm taking the 34 coupe. I think Allie's going with me, and we want to support the show. We want to support the cause. We want to support Chris, and most importantly, we want to support Cole. And we're going down, and we're hoping that between all of you guys and the people that I talk to in my circle, I'm hoping that we can get a group of people to meet up at the show and to support it, to support the family. Like I said, help raise some money. I'm not sure if there's raffles, if, you know, whatever the case is, it doesn't really matter, but just being there, supporting the show, and supporting Cole is the main priority and objective. So if anybody's available, the show is being held at 350 High Hill Road in Wallingford, Connecticut. And the show is, the registration says it starts at 7, and the show is from 9 till 3. So I don't know if you just pull in a hot rod and park in the spot where they tell you whatever. I'm not sure exactly what the registration and whatnot is, but regardless, it doesn't really matter either way. The show is from 9 to 3. If you have a classic car, a vintage car, hot rod pickup, anything like that, bring it down. Take a ride. Hopefully it'll be a nice day. It's rain or shine show. So even if it rains, I probably won't take the 34, but we're still going to go down to support the show, support Chris, the family, and especially, like I said, to support Cole. So if anyone's available, November 9th, Wallingford, Connecticut, 350 High Hill Road, Trucks for a Cause, to support the Chabre family. We hope to see everybody there. See ya. See you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.